product as a finished leather is really, well, we were conservatively saying $2.40 to $2.80 per square foot, but in reality, talking to Graham McKinley at McKinley Shoes, he said $6 minimum per square foot for anything they use. So just in the footwear market, there's obviously a huge potential to increase the value of this product from basically nothing to really, we're capturing less than 25% of its real value as a finished product. So it's a really compelling story, and yet we haven't been able to get that stage further and get the companies, these meat companies, to commit to spending a few million to gain 250 million a year, which is the nature of meat companies. So thankfully we've got one company who aren't in the meat game, who do a lot of this processing, who want to see some added value, and they process about 40% of the product in New Zealand, and they're quite keen, but we haven't got further than keen. And what I thought, it seems like it's a really good exemplar of the issues that are affecting New Zealand, that New Zealand's always been seen as a kind of breadbasket for the Commonwealth, wasn't it, in the good old days? The butter, and every time you get chopped off, and it's full of valuable resources, which had not the maximum benefit is being raised from. So Jenny Shepley, who used to be the Prime Minister a long time ago, she told us once, look, you can only be in two markets. You can be in commodity market and you sell low price and you make a very efficient, lean manufacturing approach, or you go for the very high value product. There's no room for New Zealand in between. There's not enough people in New Zealand to make an in-between product. And this is kind of what you were describing about the surfer dude in a way. You aim at a very specialist market, but there's plenty of margin in here. The value of the product is very low currently, and its expected value as a finished product is quite high. So there is room in there for doing things, making new products and trying new things. This was our first attempt. We just made some shoes. We got these made in South Korea. And the guy just looked at the material and was like, oh yeah, I can do something with that. And he just made the design, designed them on the spot. And he actually said he's going to put this one into production. He just took the top elastic off and cut it down a little bit. And he started making that product straight away. And he said, yeah, I quite like skins. They're good, easy to cut. Problem with them being they're too small. Like a hide is probably as big as this table, and skins are only small, but 9 square feet is quite big. That's twice as big as a calf. And calf is used in footwear production. So I'm talking with the guy from R.M. Williams the other day. He was saying they use calf. So for specialist markets, you can see it as a potential thing. But footwear is just one option. That's our focus, but it's not necessarily what we're expecting.
So you're not just wanting to sell the skins to other companies to manufacture and design and come up with it. So you're just kind of wanting to promote the skin as a product, not the shoes or other products.
Yeah, I guess so. That's what we see. That's our interest. But maybe we could do a lot more to promote design and promote product. Within New Zealand, that would be great. Otherwise, this would just be exported to some other market, China, India. Europe,
So China, you want to take to show the companies some sort of other ideas or things they use this, try and sell it to them.
Yeah, that's right.
How much is it to, get the setup to process it?
Yeah, good question. That's the biggest question, isn't it? Really, how much is the benefit compared with the cost?
Yeah.
I haven't done the full analysis at all. We just see that there's a potential market that's worth probably 200+ million a year. That's being very conservative. The startup cost would involve, employing a couple of Brazilians and to make your designs of your leathers and all that sort of thing, and buying the plant. But the plant is probably, you're looking at $2 to $4 million investment, and that's one-off fixed cost.
Yeah.
So the costs aren't really, the risk isn't that great. Maybe some of these companies don't have 4 million spare, and that's it's the issue for us, is trying to make them realise that the potential is huge.
Yeah.
So it's one thing we targeted, the idea of children's shoes. We thought children's shoes would be a good market. It's easy to make children's shoes.
Yeah.
You don't need all the lasting and all the manufacturing required for. So you've got the issue of making the leather, and then the issue of if you want to make a product with an NZ, what it looked like. So we actually did these in some children fashion forecasts about three years ago, I think these are. And because the colour's quite light, you can make quite brilliant colours, which it matches with children. It's obviously for adults, you know, but yeah, I'm not quite sure. It's sort of, there's different aspects to it. There's sort of the idea of making a product, and there's the idea of promoting.
Yeah, you also want to like entice companies to step forward and say,
yeah,
we'd be really keen on this product, but you need more, just one.
You know, the companies you've talked to, has any of them expressed sort of a favourite, you know, sort of some idea that product they'd be interested in, or sort of the new
markets.
line? Yeah, market.
Well, the one company that seems likely, it was with them. They have a sales guy who used to sell finished product,
Okay.
so he knows the game.
Yeah.
He worked for a company called LASRA. It used to be in Auckland, and they've closed now, but they've got a long history in New Zealand. So it's something New Zealand's given away. You know, it's something that used to be done here. Waitaki leathers in the South Island, LASRA's. Anyway, he has that knowledge, and he went looking at all the German, Italian, few Spanish companies. A lot of interest in the product. So from their perspective, they're looking for children's shoes in particular to be quite flexible and soft, and
Yeah.
I thought that would give. So there's some of those properties that we can give measurements of,
Yeah.
and provide measurements of, which show that it's actually suitable for that. But I don't know if the children's market is everything. Maybe some of the adult clout shoe. I was mentioning at that meeting that you know, this lady who makes these Cloud9 shoes, who makes this clout shoes that sold for air stewardesses. That's any business lady who's on her feet. You need to shoes that look fairly smart, but you also want a little bit of comfort there. So there's a really big market there.
Okay.
And they sell those shoes two at a time, you know, 2 pairs, 3 pairs at a time. Just happens to make some really nice leather product. But yeah, I think this could match it. I used to work for a leather company in the UK where we made a product on hair sheep, which is out of Africa, so it's not the same material as this, it's actually a little bit nicer. And we sold it into ladies' court shoes for old ladies. So Vandal and Howard and Hallam and Equity, the 3 companies in the UK were making this type of product. And in that age group, you know, it's the Queen Mum shoe. There's a huge demand and quite a lot of money actually. Padders, there's a lot of German brands, Reich, and comfort, it's a very big issue.
So are you more wanting more product ideas, concepts, or more research and like a way to entice companies and things like that?
Yeah, I'm hoping you've all
Or a
got
bit of
really
both.
better ideas than we've had, you know, really, that's the story. It's quite a tough market, tough sell, and you know, they're going to have to invest money, and they've got to go back to their boards and say, oh, it's really, the numbers actually sell a pretty good story. The numbers are pretty good, you know, that you've got this hundreds of millions of dollars of investment, of difference rather between what we do now and what they could do. But in fact, in one of these companies, it was quite good. The head of sales and marketing said, if you could make this product for me tomorrow, I could sell it all. So that's, you know, it's a positive thing. But I think they just need that, you know, if you've got a bunch of old guys around a board table and they're like, oh, you know, could put money into meat processing, that would be a better thing to do. It's quite hard to get that money invested, and we know nothing about making leathers. So we're going to push it. We've got a conference coming up in Queenstown on the 12th to the 14th of August. We're going to be promoting this very hard. We've already made it seem almost embarrassingly obvious, but we've got guys coming in from Europe and all over just promoting the whole concept of making a finished product as a you know, and that's the thing. And so it's a bit of short notice that they'll probably not be able to get anything before then, but those sort of opportunities are important to try and promote, just to get people out of what they're used to. I mean, people are very familiar with things, they'll stick to it even though it's obviously getting them nowhere. And the idea is to make something, take a bit of a chance and make something new, and join the rest of the world making finished product. Also laser cut. That's why it's a bit black. The laser's cut through black for blind.
Who are the people in the meat industry
There's,
that yeah,
that are interested.
yeah,
Mainly, they're not in the meat industry. They're sort of dealing with the next stage on. They're kind of intermediary. That's low cooperation. I think they're probably the one who'd be most likely to see advantage in gaining a bit more value, because they're processing for the meat companies, and then they're selling for them as well. So they produce the product as a part finished commodity,
yeah.
and then they ship it off and hopefully get maximum value. They're the ones who've been dealing with the problem of being caught in the middle.
How many of them are there?
Meat companies.
Yeah,
Or
well, the ones that
how
well
many-
that you're getting the skin from.
How many animals? Or how
Nah,
many companies?
how many companies are
Companies,
you-
yeah, there's 4 or 5.
Okay, yeah.
AFCO, Ansco Foods, Alliance, Silver Fern Farms.
And who of them has the most capital?
Good question. Well, Silver Fern Farms have no money.
Okay.
They've got 100 million debt they're trying to pay off at the moment by getting a lot of investors to come in. Alliance have always made a little profit, not a massive amount of profit. But it's not good for a meat company to make money. I don't know if you know that, because the farmers get angry because they're all cooperatives.
Yeah.
So they kind of somehow magically almost break even every year. However, whatever they do.
So this is quite a bit of risk then.
The issue is that it's not their main focus.
Yeah.
So a meat, I don't know if you ever meet these guys, but a meat company man is a pretty stoic guy. You
Yeah.
know, he's not going to shift much. Why should I? It's a really hard thing. So we start with the easier game,
Yeah.
the low cost guys who are sort of let's try and
Yeah.
look, and we're lean manufacturing. And
I was just
make
thinking,
it
yeah,
work.
maybe they had a bit of money and you could sort of sway.
Yeah, you don't need money anymore, do you? You just
Well, I
need
mean,
a bank
for a
to back you.
processing,
yeah.
Just need a bank to say, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So we just need a really good idea.
I mean, I'd like
Yeah.
the idea. I think,
Yeah.
you know, it's not a hard idea to sell, but it's very hard for the people who have the controlling say.
Yeah.
Do you think the markets would be more interested in selling more luxury or low end, something really cheap to make or something? You said not the
No.
middle market, they don't mind.
I don't know. I mean, my experience of companies that make product, they don't, in the end, they'll argue about price, but they're not focused on price of the product. They want something that's consistent and does the job.
Okay.
You'll never, once you get into a company and start selling a product to them, they'll never, well, if they start saying we want it cheaper, then you know you're in the wrong customer. You need, you know, but it just doesn't happen. The main issue is, why haven't I got the product now? And why isn't it the right colour?
Yeah.
And, you know, they'll have warehouses full of stuff they can't ship, but it's,
So have you done like quite a lot of research into like manufacturers and who could produce the actual shoes?
no, we've not covered any of that. Who would be a partner company? I mean, we've identified, we know companies are interested.
Okay.
Yeah, they've expressed quite a lot of interest. They love the idea of a New Zealand product.
So would you just want to sell with the New Zealand only?
Well, it's 20 million skins, so
Kind of
it's
nice.
plenty enough for everyone.
Yeah.
So how many, because you said that it's all just sitting somewhere before you're doing the thing to it.
Yeah.
How often they're obviously producing skins quite often since they're taking off
Yeah, the animals.
multiple
Yeah,
points.
yeah, you have to
So
do
there's kind of like an
processing.
abundant supply to
Yeah,
do
yeah,
the
it's
processing
driven
to
by
it.
the meat industry, so they're talking about meat, and so the skin's been removed from the animal during that process, and then if you leave it off the animal, it putrefies, or you have to put salt on it to sort of preserve it, and that becomes a bit of a hassle because then you have to get rid of those, and you know, so it's better to sell, has been better in the past to sell this commodity item, which is called pickled pelt, which is the wool's removed. Wool's quite valuable, and they remove the wool and then they do these chemical processes to get it to the